let's talk about the K&M flat-based light stand. Now, first of all, this is a product I do recommend, especially if you are looking to get rid of tripods. You don't really want to go to truss. You're looking at something in a middle ground for a light stand. You want a clean look without having to put scrims on. And just frankly, tripods, especially if you're going to lift them up pretty high, they take up a big footprint. So that's where this comes in. Now, first of all, the case on the base, I mean, this isn't light. I'm not sure the weight of it. It's not super light. Obviously, you can put one in one hand. If you double them up, two in one hand, it does get pretty heavy. But the case is nice. It's got rubber on the bottom. Little name tag area. I wish they would have made this tag spot big enough to slide a business card in, because that's what I like to do with my tag slots. But overall, nice case. I see this lasting a while. It's got a little kind of like loop under Velcro thing that hides the zippers. Haven't had any problems with the zippers at all. The base itself, try to get a little closer here, has a really nice kind of ergonomic handle for your fingers to fit in, so they're not going to get cut up on the edge of metal. Like, it's very nice and soft. It's got 4 feet on the bottom that are rubber, or no, not rubber, felt. They're kind of like a felt material. Let me grab, what am I thinking of here? There's a wrench. Oh, I was going to show you. So you'll see, I'm going to show you this now. It does come with a wrench. And what the wrench does is on the bottom, you can twist this around. It is hard to twist. You really got a wrench on it. But you can twist it around. And I'll show you why you would twist that around in just a minute. There is also a cord slot here, and the feet are high enough up off the ground where you can run the cord straight down the pole and underneath out the back. I personally haven't done that yet. If you're looking to get really clean, yes, you can do that. I usually just run them down and straight back over the pole. So I'm going to set this down here. Hopefully I'm keeping it enough in the video. For you to see it. Let me look at the monitor. I'm just gonna maybe tilt that down a hair. Hopefully I don't cut my head off. If so, maybe I'll just duck down a little bit. Okay, here's one thing that's really weird. Now I feel like the crocodile hunter. Here's one thing that's really weird, guys. This is the ridiculous case. I mean, that they tell you this is the recommended on the website case for 2 poles. 2 poles that go with this. I mean, this is made for like some jumbo, super long, heavy-duty tripods. But I bought it because they said it was the recommended case. Unzip each side massive compartment to pull out one little pole. A little on the ridiculous side, if you ask me. I'm definitely going to be trying to find an alternate plan for poles. Now I'm hoping, okay, so now you saw how that's screwed in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it back up so I'm not chopping my head off. Now, so I already adjusted this one here, and you'll see that instead of these being sideways like this, the two knobs, they go pretty much nice back and forth. That's what that wrench is for. So when you first get these, you're gonna have to put the pole on, tip it forward, and then take the wrench and kind of straighten them out. Now I'm gonna try one thing in this video because I've been wondering if all the poles are threaded the same. So I've got it lined up nice with this pole. What if I use the other pole? Did they do a good enough job in manufacturing to where they paid attention to how the machine did the threading? That's the question. So if they did not, it means that you're going to have to keep track of which pole you use with which base. And they did not. Now, as you see on this one, they're cockeyed. So it's kind of a bummer, and this was one thing I was really wondering. You know, these aren't cheap. I don't even remember what map is off the top of my head. $350 a piece, maybe. You know, when this pole's going down the line, I haven't seen a way to rotate this at all to straighten it out per pole. So, and I don't think there is a way to adjust this. It would be nice, especially because, you know, it's got grooves there. It'd be nice if when they brought this down to get the threads put on, if they made sure that each one was exactly the same. I feel like when you're paying, I mean, this is definitely a premium stand. It is not cheap by any means, but it is a very nice stand. But I feel like when you're paying for this much, it's these little things, like making sure the threads are the same from pole to pole, so that you don't have to make sure that the other pole is the one that goes with this base. This pole actually goes with my other base. So what I'm probably going to have to wind up doing is I'm probably going to put like little tiny colored stickers maybe down right at the bottom, and then a little tiny colored sticker right on the bottom of that one too, and just have like blue goes with blue, red goes with red, green goes with green. So I can, not like I have a whole lot of these, I only have 2 of these right now. I might eventually get 4, but something to keep in mind, especially if you do these for your speaker stands and you wind up having a ton of them. Now, I do like the way K&M does this. So their screw knob can come completely off, and you don't lose any parts. You don't lose any parts if that comes off. And that is amazing. So if you watch some of my other stand videos, especially the gig bar, that comes off, you start losing plastic pieces, your stand's junk. So you loosen this up, you pull this pin, and the nice thing is just bring it up, locks in. Bring it way up, locks in. Tighten that to make sure it's in there, and you're good to go. And surprisingly solid. The one thing I will say about having a flat base is if, like, you can kind of tell the concrete on the floor in here maybe isn't perfect. So you might get a little bit of wobble. It's going to be different when you have a tripod stand with 3 bases. You've got 3 points of contact, and they're going to be solid. On this, you're dealing with a flat base with 4 legs that is designed to be flat. So on an uneven floor, maybe a barn venue or something, you might end up having to put a small... Sorry about that. That is the pitfall of not making sure the battery's charged in your camera. I got it plugged in now. So hopefully it saved what I had already recorded, and I'll just edit them together. What I was saying was, the concrete's not quite flat in here. It winds up being a little wobbly. I mean, not horrible, you know, as long as nobody's running into it, it's not going to be crazy. If you were in an old barn venue, you might have to shim under one of the feet just to make sure it is solid and not going to be rocking during the night. So that's one thing to keep in mind. You know, a tripod is better for uneven terrain with just, you know, 3 points of contact. This, you know, I bought this more for corporate event stuff. I wanted a cleaner look, weddings, you know, so we're going to be in reception halls. I'm not going to use this outside in the grass. I'll use a tripod. You know, each thing has its own purpose, and this is nice and clean for corporate and wedding work. The other thing that's kind of cool about these is all their poles, you know, well, not all of them, but you can get pretty much all their poles with an M10 thread on the bottom. So you don't have to use this light pole. You can attach any pole you want to this base. So the other day I was actually testing out the bigger light base with one of my speaker poles. Now I could have used the light pole for this, but I didn't want to have a rental customer throwing it up way too high in the air, so I used it with the speaker pole one. And I put my Pro X TV mount on it, and it looked really nice. Like, you know, wedding show season is coming up, and I think I'm going to do a 50-inch flat screen with maybe some pictures, some package information, and I am going to pole mount the 50-inch flat screen on this. It looked really nice and clean, and I also think I'm going to do some Chamber of Commerce events, and I'm going to do that there as well. And plus I can highlight that our video services are for sale too. One last thing on this. I didn't fully read the description before I ordered them. I just knew I wanted the light stands as well as the speaker stands. So when I got it, I was like, dang, they put a... Actually, I think the base is M20. This is M10 up here. I think I've been calling the base M10, but pretty sure M20 for the base. The threaded pole, pretty sure is an M20. Up here is an M10 though, and I really like this because I was actually thinking about buying. They make sleeves with a nut and a screw on top, but with this, you know, you could take a single par can and mount it and screw it down on top if you're needing to, you know, say you've got 2 core par 80s and you want to wash a stage and have it look nice and clean. You just mount a core par 80 to the top of this, run the cord down at one on each side of the stage. Very indiscriminate. The other thing I had been thinking about doing is, you know, I have the Chave LED follow spot. You know, I could mount it to the top of this and have a nice, clean, not have a tripod out. Or I could just use it as 2 spotlights. I've got 2 of them, so I can put a spotlight on either side and from a distance wash a stage. I really like that they put the M10 in the top. The reason it's there is you can get a T-bar add-on. So that's the reason it's there, and then the T-bar just tightens on with a bolt. I don't think I will go that route, buying a T-bar. I think I'll just use it for individual lights. That's kind of my plan. But also I did take this out to my bar gig last night just to try it out. Threw a gig bar on top, and surprisingly, you take the tripod away from a gig bar, it starts to look a little bit nicer just with the nicer stand. So, highly recommend this stand. Only complaint would be, well, 2 complaints. The case for the base, awesome. They need to make better cases for their poles. And I'm going to show you this. Gator makes an amazing case. Like, this Gator case has 2 zippers, 2 separate compartments. It's a little small because it's not designed to be used with K&M stands that have knobs coming out both sides. But if you take this knob out and just set it on the top, they do fit in, well, these don't fit. I've actually, in here, I've got my my K&M adjustable subwoofer poles with the, I'll probably do a review on these too. It's really nice because you can lock the speaker right on there. But I do have to take the side thing out to fit them in here. But for how nice the case for the bass is, you'd think they would make a decent case for the poles. Case for the poles sucks, or what they recommend to buy. I mean, that's just like, hey, we make this case, you can fit something smaller than it in it, so we're going to recommend it. No, it's junk. I'm gonna have to try to find a case from a different manufacturer. I think this Gator one's even too small for the ones for speakers. That's definitely just for subwoofer poles. So I'll have to find something better, but that's one area where K&M definitely could step it up. And the other thing, just in the manufacturer, it would really be nice. I don't know how hard it is to make sure that the threads are the same on every pole. Like the threads, it's really nice that they did an adjustable thread socket in the base, but it'd be nice if all the threads lined up on the poles. So those are the only two kind of critiques, and I mean, you know, if anybody from K&M is watching, you take this off the website as the recommended case. It's ridiculous. Just say there is no case. Anyways, that's my thoughts on this thing. Awesome light stand. I also bought the speaker stands. I'll do a video on the speaker stands as well. K&M stuff is definitely solid. Better than the onstage stuff I've had. Better than the Gator stuff I've had. I've heard stories that once you buy a K&M stand, you will never have to replace it. It's that good. And if that's the case, I mean, they are expensive. You definitely pay a premium for a K&M stand. But if I never have to replace this, if I never have to replace my other speaker stands, I will be money ahead. Till next time, have a good day.